Hello everybody, this is Hammer Striker here. Today I've got the latest in the Diamondback Sidekick lineup, the one with the Birdshead grip. This just came out just recently. Diamondback sent us one to do a review. This is very similar to the Sidekick that you've probably seen before. We did a video on its predecessor. Its predecessor had a 4.5-inch barrel and it had a gunslinger grip. This one has a Birdshead grip. Other than that, the features are very much similar. The barrel's shorter. This one has a 3-inch barrel, so this is pretty much the smallest in the lineup. And interestingly enough, the lineup has expanded quite a bit. They've got 4.5-inch and 5.5-inch barrels versions of them, predominantly with the gunslinger grip, in a bunch of different colors, distributor exclusives, and everything else. Some of them even with really nice wood grips. This little guy that you see here has an MSRP of $327, which is pretty reasonable. These have some pretty cool features that differentiate them from a lot of these little 22s in this category. First off, it's convertible. So it's a 22 Magnum and 22 LR. So you just swap out the cylinders. And these cylinders are easy to change. One of the things I'll note, the one that's in it right now, this cylinder, is preloaded with these snap caps. They're inert dummy rounds. You can see that there's no possibility for a primer, and these are to protect the firing pin. You don't dry fire 22 LRs. So I put those in there just so that I could demonstrate the trigger without worrying about damaging the firing pin. And you'll see as I get into the video, you can pull this, the cylinder swings out. A lot of them in this style use the loading gate on the side, which is cool, but it's kind of a hassle, it's kind of a pain. With this, the cylinder swings out, you hit the ejector rod, which it does have an ejector, and it knocks all of the rounds out at once, and it does hold 9. Whether it's the Magnum or the 22 LR cylinder, it holds 9. And this is the DASA. You pretty much will find that it's more fun to shoot in SA mode because the SA trigger, in fact, let me demonstrate that. So the single action trigger, watch close because if you blink, you'll miss it. That is the entire trigger travel in single action mode. It's about 2 pounds. It's a super light, super short, really nice trigger. Now the double action trigger, it's kind of stacks. It's 16 pounds. It's kind of heavy. It's not particularly smooth, and it stacks right there in the middle. You can see where I stopped. So I pull it back, hammer came back, and I had to add significantly more force to go further. So it does have the double action feature, but you're going to find yourself thumbing it back because it's just that much easier to use. The cylinders are clearly labeled, so that one is labeled 22 LR. If I bring the other one out and get the camera to focus, you got 22 Mag. That's nice. A lot of these convertibles I see, they label one of the cylinders and they don't always label the other one. So you just have to assume that if it's not labeled, it's specific, whether it's 22 Mag or LR. They label the cylinders. The cylinders are steel. The frame on the rest of the revolver is alloy. Of course, the barrel and the forcing cone are steel. And there's no recoil in this thing. Now, it is a little bit heavier because of the full metal body. It weighs 24.5 ounces. The predecessor, the one with the gunslinger grip that has a longer barrel, that one has a 4.5-inch barrel, that weighed 32.5. So it has lost some weight, but it's still kind of a stout. When you hold it, there's decent weight to it. Now I've made reference to that prior one, so here's the critter in question. So this is the original Sidekick. It's 4.5-inch barrel with a gunslinger grip. Functionally everything is the same on it. Everything works the same. You'll just see that the grips are different. If I can get a hold of it where I'll just set it down. You can see the difference in the shape. You've got the gunslinger flare versus the Birdshead. Unlike a lot of Birdsheads that tend to be stubbies, they tend to end right about there, and they can be hard to hold. This actually is a comfortable Birdshead. You get almost a full 3-finger grip on it. It's a little bit rubberized, and it's kind of thicker panels. So it's an easy Birdshead to hold on to. I've seen some other Birdsheads that were either wood grips and things like that, and they'll tell you they look cool, but it's kind of hard to hold on to them at times. This one's easy to stay in your hand. So this 4.5 is the one that I was saying. They've now got this in a bunch of different colors and variations. So there's really expanding this line. So I'm going to set that up aside because that's not what this video is about. But I did want to just show it for reference. So dimensionally, this one is 7.63 front to back and 4.95 tall. And it's 1.38 inches thick. Now, dimensionally, it kind of doesn't matter as much. This isn't a carry piece, so it's not like you're trying to figure out, can you concealed carry this in your pocket? Yes, people do use the variants of 22 for self-defense, but I really recommend using a centerfire cartridge for self-defense because of the reliability of the ammo. Now, as far as reliability goes, the gun was reliable, and I didn't even have any misfires with the 22 ammo. The only thing I did notice is that when I first got it, the double action almost didn't want to go. So after a couple rounds through it and a few cycles, the double action then worked flawlessly, other than still being heavy. That's not going to change. But you just cannot beat that single action trigger. It's just so short, so light, so smooth that it's a pleasure to shoot. The only difficulty I had with this, and this is more my eyes than anything related to the gun, is with a blackout rear gutter sight and a black blade, I had a hard time seeing the sights. So the groups that you'll see aren't that particularly impressive. I probably would paint a white dot on that front sight just to give me kind of a reference point. But again, that's my eyes. That's not the function of the gun. There was no keyholing. The gun itself worked flawlessly. I just had to figure out how to see that sight and sight the thing in. But when I picked a consistent way of holding the sights, I did get decent groups with it. It's just, again, I couldn't see very well. Other than that, they're really simple. So if I pull this forward, I can eject all the rounds. So I just pulled this forward, cylinder swung out, and I eject the rounds. There's a little button in here you push to release the spring, so you take this whole cylinder out, drop in the replacement cylinder. This is a cool range day gun. This is something that you just take out to have fun. You could use it for varminting, snakes, things like that. But, its purpose is mostly to have fun and be cool. Beyond that, if you like our videos, please give us a thumbs up, share, subscribe, click that bell to be notified. Check us out on Facebook, Instagram, Player, Rumble, and thank you to Diamondback for sending us this little gun here to do the review. And thank you.